Hi there and welcome back to another video. So yay, I'm staying consistent. At least the situation going on is keeping me organized, but well. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing a draw this in your style. I've kind of cut it myself off from them a while back because I kind of got in a loop and I really didn't do any personal work. I felt kind of weird. There was kind of a big situation going on where I got stuck in an art block, and to get out of it I was trying to do draw this in your style challenges and other kinds of challenges, and I kind of felt stuck. I talk more about this in a post I have on the blog called Draw This in Your Style Challenge, and I mean there's a lot of benefits from it, not gonna lie. On that post I talk about both the benefits and the inconvenience I found, and that kind of, you know, it doesn't improve your portfolio, you can't sell prints or anything because most of them, and at least you shouldn't sell prints of your draw this in your style, especially if they are very similar to the original and without asking. I mean, I did ask for a couple of them that I really liked to the authors if they mind, and they didn't, but some might mind if you try to sell copies. Anyway, this is a Draw This in Your Style by Pernille Oerum. I really don't know how to pronounce her name, I'm sorry about that, but I'll leave a link down below to her social media, and so she's very talented, she's amazing. She just got an art book out that I think looks great, I might get it in the future. But yeah, I felt inspired and, you know, I kind of wanted to do a few Draw This in Your Style that have been around that are really lovely, so I thought I will start with this. I might do a couple more, but I really don't want to go through that road again where I only do Draw This in Your Style. I thought one wouldn't hurt anyone, right? And I have been doing one or two sporadically. I thought I will talk a bit more about my digital process. So I realized now that after some time I kind of have a process for drawing and coloring. I've tried to find a bit of my style for a bit where I wanted to try to work without line work, but I realized that I like line work. Line work is a thing that I enjoy doing and that I think I do well, so I'm not gonna fight it. It's just stupid in a way, and I kind of found a way to work with it, but I still struggle with coloring from time to time, not exactly for the colors or anything, but kind of the digital process. I think it's so big and there's so many possibilities that sometimes it's a bit much. It's not like with paint, or I don't know how to explain it, but I find that there's so many techniques you can use that sometimes you kind of get overwhelmed. So I find out that what the technique that works best for me sometimes is just doing a few thumbnails. I'm not a person that does 50 thumbnails. I haven't gotten there yet. I mean, I've heard plenty of times that you should do more than one thumbnail, but people say around 10 or more depending on who you're talking to, but I haven't gotten there. I just get bored easily. I don't get more creative after a bit, but I think that's all a bit of training and I'll get there someday. And especially for these quick drawings that are mostly for fun, I only do a few thumbnails and I get what I like. Then I move it to a big canvas, which is what you see at the beginning of the video. And when I do that, I make it big. It's still kind of rough, and I kind of work over it a bit to make the sketch a bit more detailed. Sometimes I really detail the crap out of it, really. I mean, I just detail it all out. And sometimes I leave it a bit rough because I like to work it through with line work. It depends on my mood, depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I'm feeling so stuck that I need the sketch to be really detailed to kind of be able to move along with the line work and just basically copy the line work below it. In this case, I left the sketch a bit rough and I went over it kind of making up the lines myself because I felt more like it. I really enjoy the line work bit. I think it takes me the most of the time, really. Probably around an hour or an hour and a half, but I really enjoy it, so that doesn't bother me. Of course, if you don't enjoy it, you don't have to spend that much time on it. You can move on to coloring and spend most of your time there. Then usually what I do is I create a kind of a clipping mask. I really don't know how to explain it step by step, but I kind of select the outside of the drawing. Usually I crop out a few pixels with a thing that says extend the selection, and I just extend it like 10 pixels or something, so you don't really see the color outside of the line. Sometimes that happens. And then when I invert the selection, I can color in without getting out. Sometimes I color with a plain color, and sometimes I'll divide and color with different colors depending on the area. In this case, I colored with just one color, it was a pink. And then I deselected everything, and then I created clipping masks over it to kind of don't get outside lines. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't, because sometimes it gets really unnatural and I kind of have to go over and fix the borders and everything. So I don't work on clipping masks on all the layers I build. And I'm a person that kind of simplifies things. I usually merge layers while I work. I don't like to have 20 layers around. Usually I keep it around, I don't know, 5 or something. Sometimes I keep a few more in case I need to change things, because sometimes I'm too quick to merge them and then I need to do a change and it complicates things. So I'm kind of trying to work out my sweet spot. But yeah, that was my process for now. And when I have the basic color layer, I start adding color in different parts, the corresponding color, but I still just add like a basic solid color. And then I begin a process that's kind of like cell shading. If you don't know what cell shading is, please look it up. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of this shading that is used in anime and comics, so check it out if you want to see what that is. But I use that kind of shading, but I don't do it so... I don't know how to explain it really. I'm sorry, I'm just bad at this. I'm trying to give this a shot because I really want to explain my process better, but I'm sorry if you get lost around. I don't like it to be so harsh. I mean, usually cell shading has like a harsh border where it ends, but I kind of like it when it's softer and it kind of dissolves into the real color. So I kind of use that, but I dissolve it. So I create a lot of layers with the multiply. The multiply layer kind of merges the color, the values or something. But yeah, I use multiply layers. Usually for the shades I use purple, and then I lower the opacity till I feel it looks right, and sometimes I repeat that process more than one time to kind of create that softness instead of the harsh line. You will see me do that here, and if you pay attention, I don't know how fast I will make this video depending on the audio, but you can slow down the video if you want to see it a bit better in that part. And then I just add highlights. I like highlights. I kind of have to stop myself a bit from overdoing them. But highlights really add this sweet spot to the end of the product. And really, I just work like that. I only use like 3 steps for coloring: the basic color, the cell shading process, which is kind of longer, and then the highlights. But then again, there's like different steps on every of them. Usually for highlights, I grab a soft brush and I go over it. Usually I used white, but now I try to use like a complementary color or the color of the light source, depending. Lately I've been using kind of like a light yellow. It's still very light, but it's kind of has a yellow tint, and I think it gives a bit of more of realism to the pieces. Just like the same that when you use a purple for shading and not a black. Yeah, I just kind of go over some places with a soft brush. Sometimes I lower the opacity of the layer to match a bit and soften it a bit, because sometimes it gets a bit harsh again. And usually what I do is I add another layer, which is like a blush layer, where I add a few reddish rose tones to the fingers, the face, the nose, and the cheeks, of course, sometimes in the ears, and some of the other bits of the skin too, to make it more realistic, because skin gets redder at some bits, and usually if you do that, your drawing looks a bit more realistic and a bit more alive, to say so. And that's basically it for how I work for color characters. I hope you kind of could understand this. I'm sorry if the audio is a bit bad. I really don't have my audio recording equipment here with me, and now I'm stuck in my student's flat for this situation going on. I'm sorry, I can't really say some words in case I want to monetize this video later, because they're kind of blocking them. But with this situation, I don't have my equipment, and I realized that it kind of adds a weird noise. I'm gonna try to remove it, so I hope it's fine. And yeah, I would love to hear your plans for this situation. I don't know what you're doing. So what I'm trying to do is kind of focus on my personal projects. Some of them have been a bit abandoned because I've been busy, but now that I have more free time with this situation, I'm trying to focus more on that and on the blog and on YouTube to kind of keep producing on a normal pace. I'm not jumping ahead and doing a lot of work for it because I know I might get burned, but I am trying to do a bit more. So I'm gonna try to focus now on working on my coloring book, so wish me luck on that, and on a new exciting blog series that I hope will be really useful for artists out there. But I have a ton of research to go through, so wish me luck with that, and give it a like if you enjoyed this little video and if it gave you a bit of insight of how to color digitally and all of that. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye!